warden stands tall as he walks down the hall. He puts all our lives on a shelf. He holding the keys to our misery. How does he live with himself? How does the warden sleep at night after the long day's through? Does he toss and turn? Does his conscience burn? Is he a prisoner too? Down in this pen full of sorrow and sin, and do the days weigh on his chest? When the warden goes home to his house made of stone, well, how does he get any rest? How does the warden sleep at night after the long day's through? Does he toss and turn? Does his conscience burn? Is he a prisoner too? Oh, warden, hey, warden, are you so different than me? Hey, warden, warden,
How are you?
what does it mean to be free? I look through the bars to look at the stars, and we're all the same, so it seems. And just like me, well, I wonder if he can ever find peace in his dreams. Well, how does the warden sleep at night after the long day's through? Does he toss and turn? Does his conscience burn? Is he a prisoner too? Are you a prisoner too?
Yeah? Okay, everybody. Hello! Welcome to Newgate. Welcome to This is the Chapel. This is where the play will be. My name is Morgan. I'm the site manager. I'm here to introduce our wonderful theater guild. This is the theater guild from Simsbury, and they are performing Tales from the Dungeon, written by Betsy Maguire, who is also here. She's going to say a few words. I just wanted to let you all know that the theater guild is performing these. Today they've done 2 shows. They're going to do shows throughout the season. They are doing this free of charge. They're helping us out. They're making this a great event. So there will be a basket on their table, and any donations go to the theater guild that go in their basket. So that's just a note. And if we could just give them a round of applause before the end, because they have been so awesome. And I'll welcome Betsy up here. Betsy is the one who wrote the entire play, and she's going to say a few words. Thank you all for coming. Thanks, Morgan. Thanks, Betsy.
Thank you so much for coming. I want to thank Liam O'Brien for his great musical pre-show. I don't know if you noticed, he was singing songs about prisons, and it was themed, and it was wonderful. So thank you so much, Liam. All right, so let's go back in time to June of 1825. Newgate at this point has been a prison for more than 50 years. It's a typical summer day at Newgate. That is, until a townswoman named Cornelia Barnes arrives on the scene.
Attend, all ye villains that live in this state. Consider the walls that encircle Newgate your place of abode, if justice were done. A nursery of crime from which no one can run. A dungeon of sorrow and darkness and fright. A cavern that blackens the hope and the light. A devilish den of your secrets and sins.
Cornelia! For the love of mercy, what are you doing? This is a place of employment. Where I work.
Oh, hi there, Josiah. Now hear me out. I had this idea, see, to get us a little extra money. God knows your salary as a prison guard here doesn't go very far. $11.33 a month.
Cornelia, that's private. Besides, I earn fees on the side, giving tours of the prison to nice folks like these.
Yeah, and that's what got me to thinking. There's a lot more money to be made here. You need a new act. Something, with a little spice.
Oh, God.
And you need a partner.
Oh, God.
I got a whole show worked up. We'll call it Tales from the Dungeon.
Tales from the dungeon? What are you talking about? We just built the 4-story above ground cell block. Prisoners don't sleep down below much anymore.
Makes no difference, Josiah. This is theater.
I don't know, Cornelia. If Tuller finds out my wife is running some kind of sideshow in his prison, he'll have my hide.
Don't you worry about Tuller. He's in the tavern across the street. Now let's give these people what they came here for. Gather round, madames and sirs, young sirs and young misses. You are about to witness the terrors of confinement. Real prisoners plucked from the pitiable pits, the dungeons of Newgate. You may be terrified by what you see, or if you are wicked, you may be delighted. But make no mistake, there are fiendish terrors that lurk beneath the ground.
Whoa, Cornelia. Let's take a step back, shall we? Begin at the beginning. I'm sure these folks could benefit from some historical context.
Well, that doesn't sound fun.
Trust me. Newgate Prison in Simsbury, Connecticut, a section which is now called Granby, first started out as a copper mine in the early 18th century. But around the time of the American Revolution, the colonial legislature was looking for a place to put loyalists, British sympathizers. And Newgate was converted to America's first state prison.
Riveting. Okay. We're going to play a little game. Just for fun. We're going to call out some questions, and you feel free to shout out the answer if you know them, okay? Here goes. Now, before this prison and the notion of confinement, people who broke the law in Simsbury were subjected to some pretty gruesome punishments. Who can name some? Beatings, whippings, anything else?
Ear cropping. Cutting off the offender's ear.
Right. Anything else?
Docking.
Good one. Okay. Josiah, take it away.
Oh, God. Okay. Newgate quickly gained the reputation as an awful place to be. Which U.S. president said he wanted atrocious villains to be sent here?
George Washington.
Someone give that man a state fellowship. Well done.
What did he say?
Yes.
Okay, good one. Now, my turn. Because of the very deep underground caverns, Newgate was originally thought to be escape-proof. How long did it take the very first prisoner, John Henson, to flee? 18 days. Everybody knows. Just 18 days. And rumor has it that his escape was made possible by a female of all people with whom he was romantically linked. She sneaked into the prison yard in the dead of night, and she lowered a rope to him down the mine shaft. It was a 70-foot vertical drop. The rescue was daring but dangerous, but she did it for love. A rope down a mine shaft. Now that, folks, is the stuff of romance. Oh.
Ah, God. Moving on. When Newgate first opened, there were only 5 things that could get you sent here. What were they? Any lawbreakers?
Counterfeiting. Burglary. Robbery. Forgery. Counterfeiting. And horse stealing.
You seem to know your history, sir. Well, today, in 1825, Newgate houses over 100 prisoners from all over the world. And their crimes include things like arson, assault, adultery, burglary,
Fine, Josiah, that's just fine. Enough historical context. It's time. Let's bring out a prisoner.
Bring out a prisoner? Are you crazy?
We're telling a story here, Josiah. Every good story needs a hero.
Did somebody say hero?
Oh, God.
If I ever write my autobiography, and I mean, why wouldn't I shall declare myself the hero of my own story.
Oh, no doubt.
Well, what a fine-looking crowd. I am William Stewart, the most celebrated counterfeiter in all of Connecticut. But you already knew that, didn't you? I'm certain you came here today in hopes of seeing me. I spent 5.5 years in this stinking abyss of unmingled woe, and I gained great notoriety. But I am happy to report that I have been released, and today I shall be escorted from the premises by my nemesis, that abusive prison keeper, Elam Tuller. Where is that heartless villain?
Oh, he's in the tavern across the street.
I'll wait. I have a surprise for him. A big surprise. But in the meantime, more about me. I've always loved mischief, you see. When I was 6, I was labeled malicious. And when I was 10, I was called a demi-devil. I was a scoundrel and a troublemaker from the start, but I was clever too. I learned to fashion fake quarters out of melted pewter, and then moved on to phony bills. But alas, I was caught, convicted, and sentenced to confinement and hard labor here at Newgate.
Did you ever have a lady in your life, William?
Cornelia, what does that have to do with anything?
We need to spice things up. There's nothing wrong with a little spice.
Spice.
Well, when I was 17, I met the most beautiful girl, and if we had been married, I would have avoided a life of crime.
Why didn't you marry her?
She was my cousin. But later in life, I met a woman unrivaled by all others, and though I don't deserve her, she became my wife. She is the best woman God ever created.
Wow.
Oh, God. Tell the folks here more about life at Newgate.
Well, when I first arrived at Newgate, I couldn't believe the deplorable conditions. It was a place more fit for hogs than humans.
Hear, hear.
I spent my days at Newgate making life miserable for that ruthless prison keeper, Elam Tuller. I plotted many rebellions, and the last one nearly killed me. I recruited 70 men to help, but in the end, they were cowards, and I was left to fend for myself. It was a bloody battle. I was struck in the face with a hot iron. I was pierced by bayonets in my throat, my arms, and my legs. Tuller himself ripped through my bare back with his sword, which broke into threes. My whole body was riddled with buckshot. But worst of all, I took a musket ball in the groin, which I still carry to this day. Tuller predicted I would die, but I held on for spite. I spent my remaining days pleading for my release on account of my grievous injuries, especially this useless lame leg, until he relented and took pity on me. But before I'm escorted from the property and on to freedom, I have a few more things to say about Newgate.
Hear, hear.
Now, hold on just a darn minute. Confound you, Stuart. As of today, you are a free man, but that does not give you the right to badmouth my prison on the way out.
You should be ashamed of yourself, Tuller. Newgate Prison is a disgrace, and you know it.
Hear, hear.
Don't listen to William Stewart. He didn't have it so bad in here. The underground caverns are cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And I used to listen to the men down there at night, drinking and gambling and fiddling and dancing. And the men here always had a roof over their head, clothes on their back, and 3 square meals a day.
You lying brute. You starved us. You chained us, you worked us to the bone, and you starved us. You even skimmed the fat off our scarce portions of meat and sold it for profit. You know what? Today I'm a free man, and I have a surprise for you, Elam Tuller. Witness, if you please.
Why, you infernal curse! You've been faking your injuries! If I had known you could move so easily, I would have kept you here as long as grass grows and water runs.
Too late! The papers are signed! Now escort me to my freedom as you promised.
I'm a man of my word and I'll do what I said. But, tell me, you still want to burn this place down? You'll threaten it often enough.
Nah! You can keep your school for rogues. I'll walk a new path now. Back to my family and a respectable life. I'm a new man, Tuller. Well, except for that ball to the groin.
All right, Josiah, Tuller's gone. On with the show.
But what if he comes back?
Oh, he won't get past that tavern, and you know it. Now, folks, it's time. It's time for the main event. A real-life, up-close look at one of Newgate's most dangerous and deadly criminals. Okay, go get her.
Her?
Yes, her. She's the draw, the toast of Newgate.
Oh. I don't know why I ever listened to you, Cornelia.
Because you love me? Confound it. How do I get him to pay attention? The truth is, I didn't come here today because he needed a new act and we needed extra money. The truth is, Josiah provides just fine on his guard salary. No, I came here today because I wanted to spend more time with my husband. I miss him when he's gone. We make a good team. But Josiah is so practical. There's not a romantic bone in his body. He puts the steady in the land of steady habits. Oh, but that's not what you came here to see here. Now let me tell you about Tirza Mansfield, the woman you're about to meet. Now Tirza is Newgate's only female prisoner. Well, currently. Anyway, because last year Newgate got its first female, Rachel Hetty, but she was only here for a few months and then she was released. She was here on a pretty small crime, breaking and entering. But here's she's gonna be here for life. But don't be afraid, Tirza. These nice folks just want to hear your story. You just wait and see. It's a real humdinger.
Why don't you tell the folks, Tirza, what you said in the court about your husband?
Well, I told the court that I wanted my husband to accompany me.
Accompany you where?
To death. Into death. That's where I was headed. So I thought, heck, he should come along.
Why do you say you were headed there?
Oh, because Joel, that's my husband, he was conspiring with Dr. Foote to poison me. So one morning, I marched into our bedroom, armed with a broad axe, and I smacked him on the side of the head.
And he died.
No, he rose right up and said, with a stunned look, "I think you have killed me." But I hadn't.
So what did you do?
I smacked him again. Same place, just a little harder this time.
And then he died.
No, Joel was a stubborn fellow. He didn't die for another 6 hours, although he was deprived of reason all that time, like always.
I told you it was a humdinger.
You were described in court as a woman who was troublesome and one who lacked restraint.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it was quite a scene. I had fans coming from all over, mostly females. They thought it was quite a scene, which it was, of course. But the judge did not like the spectacle. He reminded me, in front of everyone, that I had made a promise at my wedding before God to cherish and obey my husband, not put an axe in his head.
The same husband who was plotting to poison you.
Yes, the jury found me guilty of murder, and the judge handed down the sentence. He said, and I quote, "You are to be taken to the place of execution, where you will be suspended by the neck until you are dead, dead, dead."
But you're here.
Well, my verdict was appealed, and I was sent here to Newgate. In a technical sense, I did escape the death penalty, but gotta say, life here at Newgate, you might as well be dead. Dead. Dead!
Exactly. That is exactly my point. This place is shameful and hideous. It's not a prison, it's a pen of pigs. Allow me to explain. Louis Dwight, at your service.
I think we just found the hero of our story.
I'm sorry, I could not contain myself any longer.
You're Louis Dwight, the famous preacher.
That's right. I've traveled the country counseling men and women in confinement, offering them spiritual guidance and a path to grace. It's an absolute sin that prisoners in this country are punished and never reformed. In this place, Newgate, it's the worst of the worst.
Cease and desist, I say. How dare you? And what the devil is going on out here? And what is she doing out of her cell? And who are you to be bad-mouthing my prison in front of all these people?
The name is Louis Dwight.
Oh, the Bible peddler!
And prison reformer. You must be Elam Tuller. I saw you in town earlier today and I knew it was you. I can spot mean from a mile away.
Was that so?
You are running, sir, what is reputedly the worst prison in America.
Reputedly?
By all accounts. I've traveled 3,000 miles. I've visited local and county jails and most state prisons.
But not this one.
I saved the worst for last.
You spout nonsense. The prisoners here are treated fairly. More than fairly. Did you know, Mr. Dwight, that I have a prisoner here from Guinea, Africa? Prince Mortimer is his name. We have released him on several occasions, only to have him show up at our gates begging to be readmitted. So I tell you
That's
that...
because he's 100 years old, you fool. He's been a slave ever since he was 6. He's in pain, he's ill, and there's no one left in the world to take care of him. That's why he returns.
You watch your mouth, Missy Earle. You'll end up back in the... On my word, this is a reputable institution.
It is not reputable. It is repugnant.
Be off with you, sir. You are here uninvited. I insist that you take your leave.
I'm going. But get used to the sight of me, Teller. I'll be back in a few months to study your Newgate prison.
Over my dead body?
As you wish.
I believe that man could make a difference. Oh, it could affect me. It could affect all of us.
Be careful what you wish for. If Louis Dwight succeeds in eliminating this prison, it'll only be replaced by something else. Maybe something worse.
I can't imagine anything being worse.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. And as for you, Josiah, I want you to tell me what in God's name is Tirza Mansfield doing out of her cell on this ground in front of all these people, and it better be good.
It's all my fault, Mr. Teller. It was all my idea. See, I have this crazy notion that Josiah and I could team up to give these nice visitors here a real special experience and put a little extra money in our pockets.
Is that true, Josiah? It was all her idea?
That's right, Mr. Tuller. I had nothing to do with it. It was all her. It was all Cornelia's idea. You think I could come up with a brilliant plan like that on my own? Not on your life.
Wow!
Well, I hate to break the news to you, but the prison commission has just recommended that all of the fees collected by the guards goes into the state's coffers. So it looks like your little show is closing before it ever opens. And as for you, come with me. I'll put you back in your cell. Where you belong.
Well, I guess you best be getting home.
Yep. Better get supper ready.
Yep.
Josiah, I just wanted to say thank you for standing up for me in front of Tuller just now.
Well, it was nothing.
No, it was something. You may not be the most romantic fellow, but...
Hey, I'm romantic.
Yeah?
Sure, I just don't go saying it all the time out loud. But I'm thinking it.
All the time?
Pretty much.
What are you thinking now?
Now?
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking I love you so much, Cornelia Barnes, I would throw a rope down a mine shaft to you.
Wow. would like to know what happened to the prison and the people that you met here today. Let's hear first from William Stewart, the counterfeiter.
I never did burn down Newgate, despite threatening to do so on numerous occasions. After my release from prison, I returned to my family and mostly lived within the law. I also did humanity a huge favor by writing an astonishing autobiography in 1854.
Yeah, it was astonishing, all right. Braggadocious is more like it. And yes, folks, William Stewart here made himself the hero of his own story. But, inquiring minds want to know, did you, die with that musket ball still in your groin?
I did. Oh, one other footnote about me. I have the honor and utter distinction of being written up in a significant history book.
Oh, what is it called?
Title's not important.
What's that?
I said the title's not important.
Sure it is! Folks, Stewart here gets a very nice mention in a volume entitled Jerks in Connecticut History. Check it out.
Thank you, William. Let's hear next from Elam Tuller, the abusive prison keeper.
Biographical information about me is scarce. But you can bet that for the rest of my life, I remain pretty much a son of a beehive.
No doubt.
Louis Dwight, preacher and prison reformer.
In November of 1825, I spent a week at Newgate Prison, and I wrote a scathing report detailing its offenses. Influenced by my research, the state of Connecticut closed Newgate Prison. The inmates were sent to a new facility in Wethersfield. One historian noted it was supposed to be modern and progressive, but prisoners suffered there just as much as they had at Newgate.
Tirza Mansfield, what can you tell us?
Prince Mortimer, the elderly inmate from Guinea, Africa, who was mentioned in the play, he was transferred to Wethersfield Prison, and he died there in 1834, supposedly at the age of 110. I was also transferred to Wethersfield, and I died in 1854, just 5 days after the State's Assembly denied my petition to be released.
So what happened to the prison?
After 54 years as a prison, Newgate became the site of renewed attempts at mining and was briefly a private residence.
After a fire in 1904 pretty much destroyed the 4-story cell block, the former guard house was converted into a dance hall in the 1920s and 30s.
To entice visitors, the site boasted a variety of attractions: a bear with her cub, some antique cars, and a World War I tank.
In 1973, the National Park Service designated Newgate a National Historic Landmark. It is known as Old Newgate Prison and Copper Mine, and it is administered by the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development.
As for me and Josiah, well, we're fictional. But you can bet I went straight home that night, still blushing, and I made him his favorite stew with parsley and peppers and cayenne and cumin.
Maybe a pinch of nutmeg?
That's right, folks, because there's nothing wrong with a little spice.
Playwright! Playwright! Ladies and gentlemen, the playwright and director.
Thanks for coming, everyone. We hope you enjoyed. enjoyed it. We're doing this the second weekend in August, the last weekend in August, and hopefully back in the fall. So
Tell your
hope you had
friends.
fun.
Tell your friends.
Thanks for coming.